Welcome children. Today we continue with chapter 4 of Geography for Standard 9th Climate, and with this video we will conclude the chapter. India has a monsoon type of climate, although there are regional variations, and the weather conditions in India greatly change from one season to another. Now these changes are more noticeable in the interior parts of our country, and the coastal areas do not experience much variation in temperature, but though there is great variation in the rainfall pattern. And India, basically we have four seasons which are there: the hot weather season, which is summer; cold weather season, which is winter; then the advancing monsoon, which is a rainy season; and then the retreating monsoon, which is a transition season. Okay. Now this diagram shows you the cycle of seasons starting from winter season. If we see, it is from December to February, and after winter we have summer, which is from March to May, and then from summer we have the advancing monsoon, which is the rainy season from June to September, and then we see the retreating monsoon leaving the country, that is in October to November, and after that again the winter season, then summer, then rainy. This is the cycle of season which we see in India. Now children, the weather conditions in India greatly change from one season to another. Okay, and these changes are particularly noticeable in the interior part of the country. The coastal areas, like you see here, the coastal areas do not experience much variation in temperature, though there is variation in the rainfall pattern. Lots of rain we get here. And why is this due to? Due to the effect of the sea, the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean. You see, we're surrounded by sea. The peninsular region is surrounded by sea. So there is not much difference in the temperatures. Okay, every season it has a moderate kind of a climate, and because of the land breeze and sea breeze, this is because of the effect of the sea, we do not see much changes between day and night and between summer and winter. Winters are not harsh. Okay, light cold, and summers also are not very hot like in the interiors. They have extreme climate, and this is mainly due to the sea. Peninsular region is surrounded by sea. You can see three seas: Arabian, Indian and Bay of Bengal. This has a moderate effect on the temperature patterns all around the coast. Let us now take up the first season, that is the cold weather season, that is winter. Now the cold weather seasons begins from mid-November. We start feeling slight chill in the air in North India and stays till February. December and January are the coldest month in the northern part of India. Frost is commonly seen in the northern part of India, and we see snowfall in the Himalayan region. Now winter starts in northern India from December to February. Now the sun's rays now shift to the southern hemisphere, and the sun's rays are shining at Tropic of Capricorn, and that is the time when North India has cold, intense cold, extreme climate, very cold, than South India. Okay. So, and as I told you, frost is common in northern part of India. What is frost? Frost is a weather condition when temperature falls below 0 degree and a thin layer of ice forms on the ground and other surfaces like plants, cars and windows. So when it is ice formation, it is called as frost. When it is watery crystals, then it is called as dew. And you must have heard while watching a cricket match during this time, the matches that are going on, is the dew factor. So at nights we have this dew, and it is beneficial for whoever bats at that time. It's not beneficial for the bowlers. Okay, so as you know, December and January are the coldest month. The temperature decreases as we move from south to north. So south are much warmer than the north. Now the days are warm and the nights are cold, very cold. Okay, and there is snowfall, as I told you. In the Himalayan region they get snowfall, and now in this time, northeast trade winds, they blow across the country, and since they blow from land to sea, then most of the country it's dry, okay, because they are dry winds, so the country is dry. And but in the northern part of the country, what happens? We get some rainfall, okay. Now you know, because of the western disturbances, I've already explained to you in my previous video. I'll just recap it in my next slide. Now, so because it's dry wind, what happens is the sky is clear, temperatures are low, low humidity and little wind that blows, okay. But we do get rainfall in the northern part of India, and also we have some rain in the southern part also. Now in winter we see rainfall in two parts of our country. One is in the northern part due to the westerly disturbances, which I've already explained to you in my previous videos, but in the next slide again the explanation is given to you, so please refer to that. And then we see also rainfall in the Coromandel coast. Okay, now let me first tell you how the northeast winds which are blowing over the country, as I told you, they're dry, they're blowing from land to sea. But some of the winds, when they blow over the Bay of Bengal, they can carry moisture and bring rain to Chennai and along the Coromandel coast in winter. So this area gets rainfall in winter. Now western disturbances, I told you there is cyclonic rainfall in the Mediterranean Sea, and because of the jet stream, some of the moisture is brought to India, and this northern part of India gets a little light rainfall, and they're very, very useful for our rabi crop wheat. Locally they call this rain as Mahavat, because it's very important for the rabi crop wheat. Okay, so these are the two rainfalls that we have during the winter season. Now children, let us understand how this jet stream affects the climate of India. As I told you, in winters, this is winter season where the jet stream is flowing towards the south of the Himalayas. And here you can see there's a sea called Mediterranean Sea where the cyclones have developed, and there is rainfall in the nearby areas. And the jet stream passes through this. I told you the jet stream is not only in India, throughout the globe this jet stream is flowing. It's upper air circulation. It's high above in the troposphere. Okay, and this jet stream now flows through the Mediterranean Sea. So with that force, they bring these moisture laden winds are carried over to India, and then it brings moderate rainfall in the Punjab plains and also snowfall in Himachal, Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir. Now this is called as western disturbances, okay, because they are bringing from the west, they are flowing from west to east, and this rainfall is very, very useful for Punjab, especially for the rabi crop wheat. Okay, so these are the northeast trade winds. When they blow over the Bay of Bengal, they gather moisture and bring rainfall. The Coromandel coast, Tamil Nadu coast, okay, gets rainfall in winter. So the characteristics of the cold weather season winter, let's have a look at it. Begins in mid-November and stays till February. The days are warm, nights are cold. And when temperature decreases, frost is commonly experienced in North India and snowfall in the Himalayan regions. Dry season as northeast trade winds blow from land to sea, and we see many cyclonic disturbances which occur over North India, that is the western disturbances. These result in rainfall in winter, which helps in the cultivation of rabi crops. Now moving ahead, let us look into the hot weather season, that is summer. Now you see the summer season extends from March to May, and now the sun, which was in the southern hemisphere, is now shifting towards the north and now is going to reach the Tropic of Cancer. And during March, where is the sun? Yes, it is at equator, and slowly it is moving towards the Tropic of Cancer. And the temperature now gradually rising from south to north. So you see the southern areas are not so hot as in the northern part. You can see March it is 30 degrees. As we go up from south to north, it's increasing. Then in April it becomes 38. By May in the interior northern part it is 48 degrees. Okay, and highest temperatures experienced in Karnataka in March, then in Madhya Pradesh, and then you can see Rajasthan, which almost goes up to 48 degrees in May. Children, during summer, the desert regions of India, that is the Thar desert, gets heated up to a great extent, and this creates a region of low pressure. So you see this elongated thing, the elongated low pressure develops in this region, right, from starting from Thar desert in the northwest to Patna and Chota Nagpur plateau in the east, and this results in the beginning of air circulation around this trough. Okay, and so what happens, because of the low pressure area has developed, it pulls the moist air from the Arabian Sea, and when these air masses blow over Gujarat region, it loses its moisture to the parched land and becomes dry. And when the air masses blow over the desert region, it again becomes completely dry with high temperature and less humidity. And when it passes over this sandy desert, it picks up the sand and turns into a dust storm or Lu winds. Okay, and this continues late months of May and June. It continues till we get the northwest monsoons, and when this blows, there's hardly any visibility, and Lu actually is quite dangerous. When if a person is exposed to it for a long time, it can lead to death. Okay, we learn about the other localized showers in our next slide. So children, as I mentioned, because of the hot temperatures in northern part of India, there's a heat wave which blows across the northern part, which is called as Lu. They are dry, hot winds, okay, which is very, very fatal. If a person gets Lu, he dies. So this is a hot dry wind. At times also these dry winds blow over the Thar desert and picks up the sand, and they create dust storms, which is called as Andi in the northern part of India. And at times the dust storms also pick up moisture and bring little rainfall in the northern part, giving northern India some relief from the heat. There are also other localized showers that take place. Let us have a look at Bengal. Children, if you remember, we had learnt about convectional rainfall. Now, what is convectional rainfall? When the land gets heated up, the warm air over the land rises, it goes up, cools and condenses and drops as rain. So this is what happens when the northern part of India is very, very hot. It attracts the moisture, and that what happens in West Bengal. Okay, there's a localized thunderstorms occur, which is accompanied with heavy downpour and sometimes even hailstorms. This is called as Kal Baisakhi. It happens in mid-April and May, and the month of Baisak. Why is it called Kal? Because a lot of destruction of like crops and property is done, and it's said to be a calamity for West Bengal. Okay, there are some other pre-monsoon showers which are good for the crops. You can see because of the heat, it attracts the moisture, and some pre-monsoon showers we can see in Kerala and in Karnataka. They're called as mango showers, which are good for the mango crops, and blossom showers, which are good for coffee. Okay, and you can see also some showers in Assam. They are called as Bardoli Chera, which is good for tea and jute. So these are some of the rainfall that we get in summer. Let us have a look at the characteristics of the hot weather season, which is summer. There is an overall increase in temperature, and an elongated low pressure belt develops from Thar desert to Patna and Chota Nagpur plateau towards the end of May, and from this low pressure belt, circulation of air begins. In the north and northwestern plains, Lu and dust storms occur. There are occurrence of localized thunder showers in West Bengal called as Kal Baisakhi, and there are pre-monsoon showers also, that is the mango showers and the blossom showers. Now children, moving ahead, we'll go into see the advancing monsoons, which is the rainy season. It extends from June to September, and intense heating in the northwest India creates low pressure region. So you can see this high temperature which results in low pressure, and low pressure attracts the winds from the seas that are there, okay, and they attract it and bring rainfall to India, and these winds are called as southwest monsoon winds. Children, due to the rise in temperature in northwest part of India, low pressure is created, and to fill up this area of low pressure, winds, the southeast winds from the southern hemisphere, now they cross the equator and turn right as southwest monsoon winds. And why do they turn right? This is due to the Coriolis force, the rotation of the earth. And when it enters here India, it divides into two branches, one as Arabian Sea branch and the other as Bay of Bengal branch. Now the southwest monsoon winds are coming from the warm ocean, so they are carrying a lot of moisture, and the Arabian Sea branch hits the coast of Kerala on the first week of June. On arrival, the normal rain increases suddenly and continues constantly for several days. This is known as burst of monsoon. Now after Kerala, it moves up, the Arabian Sea branch moves up and gives a lot of rain on the western Ghats. Now these rain-bearing winds are unable to cross the mountains of the western Ghats, so the central portion of the Deccan Plateau gets little less rain because the rain-bearing winds carry little moisture because this area lies in the rain shadow area. And now it moves ahead, and by 10th of June it reaches Mumbai, gives a lot of rainfall there, and then the Arabian Sea branch bifurcates into three parts. One goes into Gujarat, hits the Gir mountains and gives a lot of rainfall in the Saurashtra region. Since these winds are unable to cross the Gir mountains, Kutch doesn't get rainfall, and that is why it's a desert region. The other branch goes into central India and gives a lot of rainfall between Vindhya mountains and Satpura mountains. Now the last one goes straight up, okay, and goes to Delhi. It goes parallel to the Aravalli range because Aravalli mountains are lying parallel towards the monsoon winds. That is why these winds are unable to cross the Aravalli mountains, and Rajasthan becomes a desert. Now the Arabian Sea branch moves ahead. There is a Raisina hill where it hits it sometimes and it gives rain to Delhi, otherwise it goes to Uttarakhand, and there, because there are so many mountains there, it gives a lot of rainfall there. Now let us have a look at the Bay of Bengal branch. When it branches off, it goes directly to Assam, hits the mountains there, Garo, Khasi, Jaintia hills, and then one of them get deflected because of the mountain towards the west, and these winds then give more rainfall in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, but as they move ahead, the rain-bearing winds become less and less. Now at Delhi, both the Arabian Sea branch and the Bay of Bengal branch meet, and so Delhi gets rainfall by the Bay of Bengal branch. Then this Bay of Bengal branch moves ahead, gives rain to Himachal Pradesh and Punjab. And then since there are a lot of mountains up, it's unable to cross the mountains, so Leh and Ladakh don't get any rain. Now children, the monsoon's rain takes place only for a few days at a time. So there are breaks in the monsoon. Sometimes there's no rainfall at all. Now why do these breaks take place? This takes place due to the movement of the monsoon trough. You can see because this trough that you see, that is the ITCZ, when it moves from the plains. When it's on the plains, it gets a lot of rainfall. When it moves up to closer to the Himalayas, then it gets rainfall in the Himalayas. Then there will be no rainfall in the plains. So you see, when there is rainfall in the Himalayas, there will be no rainfall in the plains. So due to this, there are breaks in the monsoons. There will be intervals where there will be no rain, and then the rains will continue. So this is called the breaks in the monsoon. Now children, when the monsoon trough lies over the plains, the rainfall is good here in these parts, okay? And on the other hand, when it shifts closer to the Himalayas, there are longer dry spells in the plains. There will be no rainfall in the plains, but there will be widespread rains occur in this mountainous catchment areas of the Himalayan rivers, okay? And these heavy rains bring in the wake devastating floods, causing damage to life and property in the plains. And the frequency and intensity of tropical depressions too determines the amount and duration of the monsoon rains. So what happens? The rivers get flooded and they flow down towards the plains, which leads to floods. So you see, monsoon is known for its uncertainties. These are untimely, irregular, unpredictable, and unevenly distributed. The alteration of wet and dry spells vary, okay, in intensity, in frequency, and duration. While it causes heavy floods in one part of our country and may be responsible for droughts in the other part of our country. It is often irregular in the arrival and retreat also. So monsoons sometimes arrive early, sometimes they retreat late also. Hence, it sometimes disturbs the farming schedule of millions of farmers all across our country. Now let us see the characteristics of the advancing monsoon season. June to September is a period of the advancing monsoon, a development of monsoon low pressure trough, and then this is a formation of southwest monsoon winds. There's distribution of rainfall across the country. There are breaks in monsoons, and monsoons are known for its uncertainties. Now let us see the retreating monsoons, that is the transition season. Now the retreating monsoon extends from October to November, and we can see now the sun's rays are shifting towards the equator and finally going towards the Tropic of Capricorn, and even the lower pressure region that was there in the northern part of India now are moving towards South India. So children, during October-November, with the movement of the sun towards the south, the monsoon trough, okay, or the low pressure trough that was there in the northern plains now becomes weak, and this is replaced by a high pressure system, and the southwest monsoon weakens and starts to withdraw rapidly, and gradually it is going back from land to sea, and then temperatures are decreasing and this is becoming cold. These areas are becoming cold, so it's developing into a region of high pressure. So the months of October and November form a period of transition from hot rainy season to dry winter conditions. The retreat of the monsoons is marked by clear skies and rise in temperatures. It becomes hot and humid weather. While day temperatures are high, nights become cool and pleasant. When the land is still moist owing to the condition of high temperature and humidity, the weather becomes very hot and humid during the day, and this is called as October heat. So you see children, the land here is still wet and moist, and when the sun falls, what happens? This land gets dry and the vapors come up, and this leads to lot of hot and humid weather. And this is commonly known as October heat. And in the second half of the October, the mercury begins to fall very rapidly in northern part of our country. Now children, the low pressure conditions which were there in the northwestern part of India, okay, now which was here earlier, now gets transferred to Bay of Bengal by early November, and this shift is associated with the occurrence of cyclonic depressions which originate over the Andaman Sea, and these cyclones generally cross the eastern coast of India, causes heavy spread rainfall here, and these tropical cyclones are often very destructive. The thickly populated deltas of, you can see, the Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri are frequently struck by cyclones which cause great damage to life and property, and sometimes these cyclones arrive at the coast of Orissa and West Bengal and Bangladesh, and the bulk of the rain falls here on the Coromandel coast. Okay. So children, here you can see that the maximum rainfall is during October and November in this period by the retreating monsoons are on the Coromandel coast. So Tamil Nadu coast receives the maximum rainfall. So the characteristics of the retreating monsoon season, it is the weakening of low pressure area over northwest India, okay, and then there is fall in temperature throughout India, and then shifting of the low pressure area to the south. It is marked with clear sky, moist ground and high temperatures, giving birth to October heat. There's origin of cyclonic storms in the Bay of Bengal, causing heavy rain and damage to crops and property along the east coast of India. Now let us see the distribution of rainfall in India. So children, here is the map of India which shows the annual rainfall in India. So you can see these areas which are in dark blue, they are getting above 400 centimeters of rain in the year. So parts of western coast and northeastern India receive around 400 centimeters of rainfall annually. And it is less than 60 centimeters in West Rajasthan. You can see here West Rajasthan, okay, adjoining parts of Gujarat, Haryana, Punjab, they get less rainfall, and rainfall is equally low in the interior of the Deccan Plateau and east of the Sahyadris. Okay, it's very low here because they fall in the rain shadow area. And a third area of low precipitation you can see is Leh in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, and the rest of the country receives moderate rainfall, and snowfall is normally in the Himalayan region we find snowfall, and owing to the nature of monsoons, the annual rainfall is highly variable from year to year. It depends, sometimes you get lots of rain, leads to flood and destruction, but approximately the entire country gets quite enough rainfall. Now, monsoon as a unifying bond. Now, as you know, India is a land of diversities. It has diverse food habits, language, customs, festivals, and it also has diverse climatic conditions. However, the monsoons have a unifying influence on the Indian subcontinent. The Indian landscape, its animal, plant life, and the entire agricultural calendar and the life of the people, including their festivals, revolve around these monsoons. Okay, and farmers eagerly wait for the monsoon so that they can sow their crop. Year after year, the people of India, from north to south, from east to west, they eagerly wait for the arrival of the monsoons, because our entire farming is based on the monsoons. If the monsoons are good, there is economic progress. Okay, these monsoon winds bind the whole country, providing water to all the agricultural activities that are there in our country. And even the rivers, okay, they get filled with water, and they carry this water also and unite as a single river valley unit. With this, we conclude the chapter. I'll be coming soon with the next video and the next lesson. Till then, do view and subscribe. Thank you.